We have new information from CBS News Homeland Security and Justice correspondent Nicole Skanga. Per federal law enforcement officials, the shooting appears to have originated near the Farragut Metro stop. Sam, am I pronouncing Farragut correctly? I'm not from D.C.
Okay. Yes, it's the Farragut Metro
stop. And both the two National Guardsmen and the suspect are transported to area hospitals. At this time, there's no known direction of interest toward the White House other than the location at this time. Again, for everybody knowing who's looking at a map right now, this is incredibly close, just 2 blocks north of the White House North Lawn. And federal law enforcement who is on the scene includes Secret Service, ATF, U.S. Marshals, U.S. Park Police, in addition to the Metro Police. And we have seen National Guard. You can even see one on your screen there. Toward the left-hand side of your screen. Let's go to CBS News' Chanel Call, who is monitoring everything on this breaking news story from our newsroom. Chanel, you're also monitoring some reactions, so what can you tell us?
Yep, we're looking at some social media reaction to this very fluid situation. So I want to read for you, Lindsey, a couple of social media posts. So let's start with this one from Attorney General Pam Bondi. She's saying, federal agents are on the scene of the horrific shooting of 2 National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C. She goes on to say, pray for our National D.C. Guard. Also seeing this from FBI Director Kash Patel moments ago, saying FBI is engaged and assisting with the investigation in Washington, D.C. after National Guard members were shot this afternoon. Please pray for them, and we will update with more information as we're able to. A couple of other notable social media posts to share with you. This one from Leader Chuck Schumer saying, my heart breaks for the victims of this horrific shooting in Washington, D.C. near the White House. I am closely monitoring the situation and am praying for the wounded National Guardsmen and their families. I thank all the first responders for their quick action to capture the suspect. Also seeing this note from Senator Rick Scott saying, praying for the National Guard members who were just harmed in Washington, D.C. while keeping our nation's capital safe. Violence against our men and women in uniform is disgusting. God be with them and their families. So obviously, you know, an outpouring of support for these 2 National Guardsmen who we now know were shot just about an hour ago, Lindsey, and still waiting for significant updates on their condition.
Okay, Chanel, thank you so much. I want to go back to the coordinating producer for our CBS News Crime and Public Safety Unit, Anna Schechter. Anna, if you can, let us know everything that you and your team know as you guys are feverishly working to gather more information.
Sure. What we know is that the National Guard on the street was attacked in an ambush-style attack. It occurred around 17th Street Northwest in D.C., just 2 blocks from the White House. And the 2 were critically injured. It became a shootout situation, and the suspect was also shot and is also critically injured. All 3 were transported to the hospital. At least 1 was medevaced, and we will be hearing more soon on the condition, the nature of the injuries. Our team's been reporting on ambush-style attacks of law enforcement for months now. It appears that this is yet another case of law enforcement targeted in an attack. Sources tell CBS News that there is no connection to a White House attack or anything like that. No nexus with New York City. Again, we're 1 day away from the Thanksgiving Day parade that draws millions. And that's where we're at this time. We are expecting a press conference imminently where we will hear more.
Okay, Anna, thank you so much. All right, we did hear from the Federal Aviation Administration saying that they temporarily paused arrivals, I believe at Reagan, Reagan National. My brain had to decode the airport code to make sure that we weren't talking about Reagan and Dulles, but Reagan Washington International Airport for medevac movement that lasted for 30 minutes. Operations are resuming. Kirk Burkhalter, you had mentioned the medevac earlier saying that that didn't necessarily bode well. That wasn't a good sign. We know that the 2 guardsmen who have been shot are in critical condition, but hearing our Anna Schechter report that it was an ambush-style attack that turned into a shootout, what do you make of the new details that we're getting?
On the ambush-style attack, it's at this point, it's fortunate that the guards personnel, the guardsmen, survived. Ambush-style attacks normally do not hold well for law enforcement officers, to say the least. What's important about this being possibly an ambush was how long did it take this individual to plan this particular activity? And once again, as we have all been saying, is there anyone else involved in the planning? Just because others are not on the scene and so forth, they doesn't mean that they did not have any assistance, accessories before the fact, during the fact, after the fact, and so forth. And also, did this person have anything else out there? When someone plans to attack law enforcement or attack the military, they know that there is a strong chance they will not survive. So quite often, there may be some other devices or something somewhere. And I am certain that our law enforcement personnel and the federal authorities are concerned and investigating that. The other point is that this happened at a metro station, and I'd be interested to know, it sounds like it was above ground, but I would love to be able to verify that if it was above ground or below ground. And the reason why I make that distinction is we have military personnel all over the country in our airports, in our subways, our various transportation centers. I see them every day in New York City, in Penn Station and Grand Central Station and so forth. So I wonder what the ramifications will be for that moving forward. Will their posture be different? How will they approach their job? So those are the 2 things that jump out to me at this particular point in time.
Thank you very much for that. Sam Vinaigrette, I'll have you pick up on that. So we know this is via senior federal law enforcement officials that the shooting appears to have originated near the Farragut Metro stop. Per Kirk's point, we don't know if it was above ground or below ground. But Sam, what does that tell you that this took place near that Metro stop?
Well, Lindsay, for those that are unfamiliar with D.C., there's actually 2 Farragut Metro stops in this area, Farragut West and Farragut North. It appears that the shooting took place near Farragut West, but Farragut North is just, I believe, a block or 2 away. So you really have 2 Metro stops in very close proximity. You, of course, have the White House and various other government buildings. You have a lot of restaurants that cater to individuals working in the area, as well as tourists that are visiting. Of course, you have Farragut Park, where the shooting took place very near to there. And just a few blocks away, you have Lafayette Park, which juts up against the White House. So there are a lot of different things in a very small area that are packed in. And the fact that this happened near a metro station begs the question of how the suspect or suspects actually arrived at the scene. Because of the proximity to the Farragut West Metro Station, the Metropolitan Transit Police are also involved in the situation and investigation. They are likely reviewing their video footage as well to try to see if the suspect or suspects traveled to the scene on the Metro. But that just adds another layer of complexity to all these matters. And I actually don't think we've confirmed yet whether Metro traffic has stopped or been curtailed to these Metro stations in light of this horrific event.
And we do have a little bit more information as you have been giving us your analysis, Sam. Okay, I'm hearing that Chanel Call has new information. Chanel, are you ready for us to go to you?
Yeah, so Lindsay, we're getting an update now from Governor Patrick Morrisey in West Virginia, and I just want to read you what he just tweeted a couple moments ago. So at 3:42, he sent this out on social media, and it says, "It is with great sorrow that we can confirm both members of the West Virginia National Guard who were shot earlier today in Washington, D.C., have passed away from their injuries. These brave West Virginians lost their lives in the service of their country. We are in ongoing contact with federal officials as the investigation continues." It goes on to say, Lindsay, "Our entire state grieves with their families, their loved ones, and their Guard community. West Virginia will never forget their service or their sacrifice, and we will demand full accountability for this horrific act." Again, a couple of big pieces of information coming from this social media post. Now, West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey identifying those 2 National Guard troops as West Virginians, and also saying that they've both passed away from their injuries.